All right, you guys know how I always tell you guys that I've been doing this long enough to know where you're going to get frustrated, and I want to eliminate that. Remember, being challenged and struggling a little bit because you're challenged, that's fine, but being frustrated is never what I want from you guys. So, here is a part that of the project for pegboard that is literally a step-by-step process for you, and it actually works, and it is right here in your pegboard project. It actually would take you through the step by step how to make the legs. I promise you, if you follow it step by step, it does work. But I like to be able just to show you in kind of a similar fashion how it works and why we have it set up that way and why we're actually adding it the way we do. So let's just say instead of your normal pegboard, like let's say your normal pegboard looks like, ooh, I don't even have it pulled up. Normal pegboard has a vertical straight edge like that. Well, what I did was I actually modified mine and made it the pegboard crazy. And this is what it looks like. And I need to make a leg that fits perfectly onto this. So every angle of this is filled. Ooh, my. That would be a little difficult, wouldn't it? I mean, having to try to measure the angles and the degrees and all those. Well, here is a way in Autodesk that's amazing that we can do that in a much simpler way. So we're going to make a part while we're in an assembly file, and we're going to base it off of this edge here. That's pretty much it. This is kind of like the mold that we're going to use to build that part. So check this out. So when we want to add a part, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a part while we are in an assembly. So I'm simply going to hit create, and then I need to be able to name it. So I'm going to name this one Tandberg side, and I'm going to name it craziness because that is what the example ones I'm doing for you guys. So, and this is where it's saving, so I know where it's at, so I'm going to hit OK. Now it's going to be like, okay, well, what do you want to do? You need to start a new sketch, but from what plane? Where are we doing this? What face? So I'm going to choose the front face here because that's where we're going to start from. So I'm going to left click there, and of course it's going to give me the following style definitions. And what we always say, just hit OK, it's fine. All right, so now it turned and it grayed everything out, and you're like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? What are we doing? Well, basically, we have flipped to the front view, and we are going to build in this front view. You basically told it which view you want to build from, kind of like the XY plane. That's what we're in right now. Um, Now I want to build off of these little crazy edges. So I want to highlight those so I know what I'm doing. Now there is a great tool called Project Geometry. It's not Project Geometry, it's Project. So I want to project the outer geometry of this actual part. So once I click that, now it says, okay, now I can see what I'm going to build off of. And it also allows me to build directly from the lines too. So then you can keep it simple. You can use your line tool if you want. You could have been like, I'm going to build my side part off this, and it's amazing. Or if you'd, a fun little tip and trick that I like to mess around with sometimes is I like the trim tool, so what I'll do sometimes is I'll just sit there and go, okay, I'm gonna just add a triangle here, and then I'm going to go in and say, all right, I'm gonna trim this off because I don't want it at all. Because none of this is what I want. All right, so there we go. So now I still have a solid object completely around. Now what you would have to do, as it states in the instructions, you would have to figure out your total height, and then you would have to figure out your dimensions across, which I believe it is, I think it's 0.75, I think. I might be right, and you might now. I wasn't sure if this worked. It did work, so I don't want to click it again because it'll give me an error for over constraining it or over dimensioning. Excuse me. But then the last, I think, yeah, we had to dimension. I got to go back into it. I think here to here, maybe. Yeah, I think we had to do that. And then from the very edge, which would be pretending this straight line would be here, we're going to say it's this guy right here. From here to here, I believe was 0.375, I think. So, uh-oh, the bottom didn't like that at all. So I'm going to do the same thing here. So here, let's see if I can do the same thing. Yeah, it'll let me do it. Oh, Can't do it. See, that's the problem. I made this thing too weird and crazy, so it doesn't like it now. But you know what? I can actually just go straight across here and do what I need to do. Uh-oh, it didn't like that either. All right, so what am I gonna do to get this to this? Oh, here's the problem I have. It angles up. So I would actually have to rebuild this thing. But let's just say this is perfect where it is. So I would finish the sketch and then I would say, I want to extrude my part and make my part, but I don't want to go in that way. I want it going that way and I want it to be the full distance of this. Boom, done. And then you would simply, this little return thing takes you right back to the part. So now you have a separate part that you have now built in your assembly file. Now, um, and there's the part. Now, if you would have built it the proper way without the craziness there, and it would just been a beautiful straight dado joint, you can simply hit place, and then you could place that part again on the other side, so you don't have to remake it, and you just constrain it, and then booyah, your assembly is done before you have to modify it for your triangle peg. All right, good luck.